Good afternoon. I'm back. April 2nd, day 2 of the Earth Month Repurposed Art Challenge. And today, I hope you have seen already that our prompt is crocus. There it is. Cute little adorable purple, white, lavender crocuses. Have I ever seen them in pink? I don't think so. I think they're all versions of purple. Some are more intense and some are less intense and white. Have I seen any yellow crocuses? I don't think so. I think they're like white and purple, the whole wide range of purple, which is why I love them. So my substrate, same as yesterday, is this clear plastic lid. And I found the perfect thing for my crocuses today, my crocuses. This rice bag. I've had it in my stash for a while, but it doesn't look that old, so maybe not that while. But anyhow, I think this is absolutely perfect. So I think I'm going to cut it apart and make a bunch of crocus petals from it. I might need some yellow stamens. What do I have for yellow stamens? I have this. It's sort of a mustardy yellow. Actually, I think that would be very pretty for stamens. Is that what they're called? I have some left over from yesterday's yellow from the daffodil. I think I like this mustardy yellow. So I'm going to cut this apart. So there's some sort of seams all around, and then there's a Velcro closure. I'm going to start by cutting that off because a Velcro closure is not fun to stitch through, but maybe it'll come in handy for something else eventually. Hello, thanks for being here. Let me know if you are also participating in the Earth Month Repurposed Art Challenge. I have been sharing people's posts about them, so be sure to tag me if you're participating. And I know some of you are already ahead of me and have done the crocuses for today, but I had a busy morning, so I'm just getting to my crocus now. And this bag is going to be perfect. I am saving these strips I cut off. So let's see. I'm just gonna rip this. So I have a nice, oops, I didn't mean to rip it that much. Oh well. So I have this nice piece. This has some clear plastic on it. I don't think I want to use any of the clear plastic, so I'm just gonna cut that off. I'll save that for something else. And let's see, is this gonna just let me, yeah. I'm gonna cut this clear plastic off as well. And I'm just gonna try to make as many petals as I can, and we'll see how many petals I can get, and that will determine how many crocuses that I put on here. I think I'm going to go less 3D today than I did yesterday, but a little bit. Maybe not 3D, but what's the word? Relief, a little bit of a relief, so coming out. And I think 3 crocuses would be nice. So I already have this piece of plastic. It's folded in half. I'm gonna fold it in half again, and I'm just gonna cut the petals. So I'm gonna take a look at my picture. Yeah, it's just basically a round petal, round at the top, and they look to have 4 petals each. Some of them have 5 petals each. Right, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. So I'm just gonna cut the petals. Yeah, just the basic round shape. I am not looking to be perfectionist about what whether my crocus looks anatomically correct or not. I'm not worried about that. I am just using the crocus as inspiration. I'd like it to be recognizable for its crokedness. I'm making up words. But not exactly worried about whether it's perfect or not. Because these are just experiments. I am trying new ways of working. Now, granted, I have worked with this clear plastic, with this soft plastic before, but I'm trying to do a more of a relief effect than I usually do, so that's a new technique I'm going to be trying. And it's stitching on these clear plastic lids. That's also something new. I'm going to cut off this part that I ripped, and the green part and the dark blue part, and just use this. And I don't mind the clear plastic in here. Hey Irene, nice to meet you. Welcome, welcome. Let me know if any of you are participating in the Earth Month Repurposed Art Challenge. I always love to hear that people are working on it. So I'm just folding this in multiple ways, and I am cutting multiple petals at the same time because I don't want to waste time. I just want to get going. And this is nice and soft to cut, so I can do that. So I have a whole bunch of petals. I'm going to cut off this large white nutrition fact parts and this blue part with the logo. I want to stick to mostly purple parts. Those other parts will come in handy for something else. I know it. I think I'm going to let this part go because it's going to make too small of a petal. But this will be a nice size petal. So I'm folding it into threes, and then I'll fold in half. And I'll cut out more petals. Welcome, welcome. Let me know if you are participating in the Earth Month Repurposed Art Challenge, following the prompts. If you're doing your own thing, everyone is welcome. It's a free challenge that I am posting here on Instagram. And I'm saving every little sliver of plastic because if it doesn't go into this challenge, it will go into something else. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 petals. I have more than enough, so I'm going to take out these two that have too much white and blue on there. I don't want those. Okay, let's see. I think I will just start stitching. So I found this variegated blue, purple, a little bit of gray beigey kind of color thread that I'm going to use. Same needle from yesterday. This is just a very basic needle. My core need for it is to be nice and sharp. That is all. So I'm just gonna thread my needle and start stitching these down. And I need to switch my glasses because I need stronger glasses so I can thread my needle. That's how it works. And ooh, these glasses could use a cleaning. Yes, they could. Hey, Sharon. Oh, no, it's not Sharon, it's Beth. Nice to see you. I am just stitching my flower, crocuses, several flowers, for day 2 of the Repurposed Art Challenge. But I've also figured out I need to clean my glasses. Oops, I'm shaking everything. Okay, here's my little orange cloth. I gotta be able to see what I'm doing, right? I wish I didn't have to wear glasses, but here we are. Glasses, what are you gonna do? Aging. I don't know what anyone is talking about. Okay, I think I'm going to do 3 crocuses? Croci? I don't know. I don't know what's the right way of saying it. So I'm going to make them, each one of them, they're mainly 4 petals. Oh, stamens. I forgot to cut stamens. So I have this mustardy yellow. I'm going to trim this portion away. And I am going to, let's see, the stamens, how much do they stick out from the petals? Looking at my picture, they're about the same height as the petals. So, all right, this is good. So I'm gonna cut this in half, and then I'm gonna cut them into long slivers, and they will be my petals. I feel like they need to be a little bit shorter, so I'm gonna cut this section off. And I'm going to cut just however many I cut, however this works out. I will just cut them into a few and then stitch them on. Just wide enough so I can get a stitch through them. All right, so now I have my stamens and I have my petals, and I'm just gonna start stitching and see what happens. So I'm going to start with the back one. I think I'll do this one at a time, and I'm just sort of stitching the petals at the bases so that they can remain a little bit, not really 3D, but a little bit of a relief, so they're sticking out from here. I'm folding, I think I'm gonna do this for each of them. I'm just making a little fold in the center of the petal, and that way it gives the petal just a little more shape. So let's see how I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna take a stitch from the back. These plastic lids stitch very easily, and I'm just gonna take one long stitch to secure it. When the base is so rigid, it's easy to just take a nice long stitch. And then I'm gonna come back near the same hole where I started and come out there. And I think, should I do like 3 stamens? Oh no, it's 1 stamen each. Ah, it's 1 stamen each. Okay, so I'm gonna just do 1 stamen, and I'm going to stitch it on onto the petal that I have put in the center here. Come on, push through. It doesn't want to. There, I got it in. So now I'm just gonna stitch it on. I think that once I'm done, I will add a little embellishment in with a stitch to the petal again. But right now my job is to just stitch these guys down. Okay, so there's my first petal and my stamen. I think once I have more stitches in here, the stamen will stay stuck. All right, you know what? Actually, I think I'll take another stitch just to stabilize this little stamen. I don't want it to be flopping. With more layers, it's harder to stitch through, but that's where this thimble comes in very handy. This is my grandmother's thimble, so gosh, I guess it could be close to 100 years old now. I'm not sure. All right, so now for the next petal, I'm gonna do a little fold, and I'm going to stitch it right next to and overlapping. push my needle through. Oh, hello, hello. Nice to see you. Nice to see everyone. I love it. More people are popping in. Let me know if you're participating in the Earth Month Repurposed Art Challenge, or you're just watching along. That's cool. Everyone is welcome. So, all right, I got 2 petals in now, and I got my stamen. So now I'm going to do a 3rd petal, giving it a little fold in the middle, a little pleat, if you will, if you speak clothing language. All over here. And I'm taking a stitch right through. And there it is. Okay, so now I have 3 petals in. So now I'm going to do the final petal, and I think, so this is interesting. So with plastic, you always want to look, it could be a nice bright color on one side, but on the back of it, it's a nice soft version of the same color. Sometimes it's a completely different color, but it depends on the translucency. So I'm going to take and use the back of this petal to signify that this is, so it's going to look like that's the inside. And I could actually later on bend it out a little bit. So I'm going to do that. So now I'm going to stitch on this outer final petal. And I think that's going to take 2 stitches to keep it in place how I want to keep it in place. I was wondering whether I should add a little green to these for stems. I don't know. I think I kind of like the old purple version. I think to me, when I see the crocuses coming up in the spring, yes, I know they have greenery on them, but I really like seeing them just as these little purple dots. All right, so here's my first crocus, and I'm going to fold this petal down so it shows through. So that's my first one. Oh, I made a knot on the back here. Can I fix this? Yes, I can. All right, good. All right, so I'm going to tie this off on the back here, just in case. I don't want anything falling off. That's one of the things I want to make sure in all my art, whether it's experimental or not, I want the quality of it to be nice and sturdy. So I'm going to trim this off. And now I think I will make 2 more right here. And I'll probably have petals left over, but that's totally fine. I will use those petals for something else along the lines somewhere else. So just knotting off my thread. And oh, this petal is a little wonky. Let's use, oh, this one is nice. So I'm doing a little fold. And this is my back petal. I'm going to start with all of them at the same way. So I'm going to do my back petal and just take 1 stitch to secure it. Like this. Oh, welcome, welcome. Nice to see everyone. Let me know if you're participating in the challenge or just looking, just paying a little attention and looking to see how it progresses. Everyone is welcome, however you want to join. Now I'm doing a little stamen. And I'm probably calling all these things by their wrong names. A botanist, I am not. Perhaps someone who is a botanist can correct my language around flower anatomy. I will do my best to remember it, but I'm not making any promises. Okay, so there's my second little petal. The first little petal of the second flower, and the stamen is stitched on. So now I'm going to do another petal. I'm going to do one to each side. Come on, fold. Fold, crease, done. Okay, I'm gonna hold it in place. I could be pinning these in place before stitching them, but because I am doing one petal at a time, I think it works perfectly well to just hold them with my finger as I am stitching them on. It's not difficult. And pinning on these plastic lids can be a little bit of work that I don't know that I want to deal with. You know, it's easier to push a needle through than a pin, I think, in some cases. All right, so my second one. Come on, push in. Hopefully I won't puncture my fingers. I have done that before. Not while I'm on a live though. So hopefully I won't do that. Okay, so, all right. So I have 3 petals in place. Now I have to do one more, and I'm going to choose, which one should I choose? I'm gonna choose this one. And again, I'm gonna do the back side of it because that's the beauty of this plastic, is it's different colors on each side. So I'm going to stitch it on and then bend it so it peeks out. So I want it to be in here. And then I will do one more crocus. I mean, I could have done just one flower, but I think it's really fun when you see crocuses in bunches, and then you see that's how they are in nature. They're like little clusters of crocuses. So that's why I decided to go with 3. 3 is a good number. I think this is gonna take 2 stitches to make sure it's holding on. Come on. So welcome, welcome. Let me know if you are participating in the Earth Month Repurposed Art Challenge or you're just watching. I'd love to know if you're playing along, and if you are, make sure to tag me when you post your work so that I can repost it for everyone to see. Okay. Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you. All right, so now my second crocus is stitched on, and I'm just bending the petal to stick out. Very simple. And I just tied off my thread on the back, so I'm going to snip it off. And I'm going to tie a knot at the end of my thread and do my third and final crocus. So let's see. I'm going to choose one of the bigger petals for this. Do a little fold in it. And stitch it on over here. I'm going to do it a little bit lower. We don't want to do a perfect symmetrical little thing because I don't want to. Symmetry is not always necessary. So there's my little petal. I stitched it on. Now I need to do my stamen. Here's my little stamen. I'm going to center it on my petal. Come on, stay straight. Okay, pushing it through and just securing it. Oops, don't move on me. Do you talk to your artwork when you make your art? I do all the time. I give commands, I cajole, I beg, I plead, I encourage. I do it all to my artwork or to my materials as I'm manipulating them into my artwork. Oh, this one does not want to stay straight, so I think I need to take one more stitch through it in order to convince it to stay straight. Here we go. Okay, I think this should work now. In you go. All right, it's not perfectly straight, but what's perfect? The imperfection of nature is what's perfect about it, right? Okay, so another, let's see, which petal should I use? I use this one, so I'm gonna give it a little fold and stitch it onto the side. And just one stitch usually is enough to keep it in place. Okay, so there's my second petal for my third crocus, and we'll use this one for my third petal. So a tiny little pleat. Add it to here. And stitch. And there it is. So there's my third crocus, almost ready. And now for the final petal. I do have extra petals, just like I thought I would, but that's okay. I'll use them for something else. Which petal should I use as my final petal? I kind of like this one, even though it's mostly clear. So let's do that. I'm gonna put these to the side. I'm gonna give it a little fold and put it in its place. Oops, the fold came apart. Putting it back in. Okay. Now I'm going to stitch it in place. So this final petal, because it's got a few layers to go through, could be a little bit finicky to stitch through, and it will probably require more than one stitch to keep it in place. I just want to be sure that it doesn't fall apart on me. It's one of the reasons I'm not gluing this time, is because glue is just not trustworthy unless it's really toxic. Then I guess it's more trustworthy, but I don't want toxic glue to deal with. Okay, there we are. I think I'm done. I got my 3 little crocuses, however is the right way of pronouncing it. I'm just taking a stitch to tie things off on the back. Come on, there we go. So there it is. I think it's good to go just the way it is. So here are my 3 little crocuses on my clear plastic lid. I'm going to put it on the wall. I don't know if you can see, but there's my little daffodil next to my bigger artwork pinned to the wall over there. I think that's what I'll do. I'll just pin them all together there, and then later on I'll figure out what I want to do with them. If I want to attach them together or not, we shall see. But there they are, my little crocuses for day 3. Day 3. No, I'm getting ahead of myself. Day 2 of the Earth Month Repurposed Art Challenge. I'm just gonna save all my little stamens for another flower another day. But there it is, I'm all done. And I hope you are participating as well. Please don't forget to tag me, and let's share our art from repurposed materials. Easy peasy and fun. Thanks for being here today.